A mediocre teacher explains. A good teacher demonstrates. And a great teacher inspires. A journey which began over 100 years ago. This is the story of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Khalsa College, also known as the wonder in rural hinterland.
Well, friends, a very warm welcome to all present here. We are here for a 1-week faculty development program, and this faculty development program is basically based on the practical snags and issues we are facing during our NAC accreditation. As you all know, and it's for ma'am and sir's information also, sir, the college has been awarded the mentor status. You've already been intimated that we have been awarded the mentor status under UGC Paramar scheme, and we are mentoring 5 colleges. So when we went for our first phase, that is the institutional visits and the orientation part, that went on very smoothly. This was followed by the second phase, that is where they have to, where it is SSR, SSR writing, documentation, validation, verification. And we realized there are plenty of practical snags. There are plenty of practical issues which need to be resolved. So friends, today we are all here and we'll be with you for another 6-7 days for discussing the various issues that are there during this practical snag. So before we start, as per the tradition of the college, we'll start with the morning, with the college prayer. So may I request, we may now start with our program. So I request our worthy principal, Dr. Pargat Singh Garcha, to formally welcome the guests of the day and all the participants. Dr. Pargat Singh Garcha, please.
Thank you, Dr. Manu. A very good afternoon to the august audience in this 7-day workshop on NAC Revised Accreditation Framework. First of all, I extend a heartiest welcome to the respected resource persons of the day and all the participants on behalf of the College Management Committee and Faculty of GHG Khalsa College of Education, Guru Sir Sudhar. Dear friends, initially we planned this workshop for our 5 mentee colleges under the UGC Paramar scheme. Then we realized that why not all colleges can take benefit of this open online platform. And we are happy to share that we have received more than 2,000 registration for this workshop. Participants from all the states and UTs will join us through Zoom and YouTube Live. So for the information of other state participants, I would like to share a few words about our college. Respected friends, the college is serving the society since 1955. The college is located in village Sadhar, which is just 28 kilometers from Ludhiana. This institution is associated with the name of Shri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, 6th Sikh Guru, who once visited this place in 1657. The teacher training course was started in 1955. In 1957, the BT course was transformed into GHG Khalsa College of Education and started B.Ed. And then in 1982, M.Ed course was started in the college. The college is re-accredited with A grade by the NAC with CGPA of 3.30. It is a grant-in-aid college affiliated to Punjab University, Chandigarh. The college is serving the society from last 6 decades, and the college is rightly remarked as wonder in rural setting by Shri Prem Patia Ji, ex-editor of the Tribune. Coming to the theme of the workshop, as we know that India has one of the largest and diverse education system in the world. Education is a key factor influencing the growth and development of a nation. India moved from a nation with a 12% literacy rate in 1947 to 74% literacy rate as per 2011 census. The higher education sector has also witnessed a tremendous increase in its institutional capacity since independence. The higher education gross enrollment ratio in India for the year 2018-19 is 26.3%, and our new education policy is expecting it to be 50% by 2035. In most of the states of India, gross enrollment ratio is on increasing trend, but it still lags when compared with other countries. Or when we talk about Punjab, the gross enrollment ratio is not increasing as compared to the other states. In past 3 decades, there is improved access to the higher education. Along with the expansion, there was dire need to promote quality of higher education in India. So realizing this recommendation of national policy in education in 1986, Central Government of India established NAC in 1994 and gave freedom to this body to take necessary steps to improve the quality of higher education in India. As addressing the quality concern of one of the world's largest system of education was not an easy task. So in 25 years old history of NAC, we witnessed that NAC has taken some good initiative to create positive environment of qualitative improvement in various colleges and universities. By analyzing the feedback of various stakeholders time to time, NAC has revised the process of assessment and accreditation. The revised NAC process is a paradigm shift from earlier process, making it ICT enabled, objective, transparent, scalable, and robust. The revised accreditation framework is ensuring that NAC processes are in tune with the local, regional, and global changes in higher education scenario. The revised process is being adopted from July 2017. The participating colleges in this workshop may be at different stages, like at the beginning or in the process of preparing IIQA or SSR or student satisfaction survey, or waiting for the peer team visit to their institute. We come across many questions when we are working on revised accreditation framework in our colleges and universities. Some of new dimensions are added, new process is adopted. So we feel that we need expert answer for some of our pertinent questions related to revised accreditation framework. So this is an attempt from GHG Khalsa College of Education, Guru Sarsudar team, that all participants will get benefit from the eminent resource persons. The valuable discussions in question answering session will also help to clarify some technical snags faced by the colleges in the process of NAC assessment and accreditation. As Dr. Manu has already said, we have completed one process of orientation to our 5 mentee colleges. Now they are to the next step, preparing their SSR, and one college is waiting for the peer team visit. So in the same line, other colleges may be working on different stages. This workshop will help each and everyone by getting experience of one and another. So in the end, I once again extend my heartiest welcome to all the respected principals and staff of our 5 mentee colleges, principals, IQAC coordinators, and the learned faculty from across the nation. Welcome to all of you. Enjoy the workshop, learn from workshop, cooperate properly in the workshop to make it learning environment. Thank you very much. Over to Dr. Manu, please.
Thank you, Dr. Bhagat. So not taking much time, I would like to now hand over the mic to an eminent personality, Dr. E. Ram Ganesh. Dr. E. Ram Ganesh is the chairperson, School of Education, Professor, Head Department of Education Technology, Bharati Dasan University, Tiruchirappalli. Sir has a long list of credits to him, which is endless. And you'll all find everything when you talk to him, and you would not stop hearing him. He's a person of eminence. Sir, your 2 days of assessment are still afresh with us, but for the others to know, sir is master's in maths, Psychology and Philosophy, PGDCA, Masters in Education. He's MPhil and PhD in Computer Science as well as in Education. Presently, sir is holding a number of academic positions. He's a registrar, finance officer, director, college, curriculum development cell, director, curriculum development cell, UGC, human resource development cell, chairperson, School of Education, head, Department of Education Technology. Sir has almost delivered around more than 500 lectures, plenary talks, keynote addresses, inaugural addresses, has also chaired many graduation and convocation addresses. So just winding up, as I said, it was very difficult for me to compile 64 pages because I think I need one full day to speak about sir. Not only his credentials, but otherwise also as a person. So as a person, Dr. E. Ram Ganesh is a wonderful person, a learned personality, versatile, dynamic personality. There are 2 days of meeting as a NAC assessor, although we were a little hesitant with you, but that they were actually an amazing experience, an amazing learning experience with such a person of eminence. Welcome to this online FDP, sir. And now over to you, because I think the participants would like to hear you more rather than me. So over to Dr. Ram Ganesh, sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Manu, for wonderful words upon me.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening to all of you. Distinguished Chairman, Secretary of GHE, Khalsa College of Education. Most respected Principal Dr. Barkat Singh, Dr. Manu, IQAC Coordinator, faculty members of GHE Khalsa College of Education, Punjab, and my dear teacher participants, respected resource persons, friends. Good evening to all of you. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be part of the great exercise initiated by GHE Khalsa College of Education, Punjab, on the topic of the significance, the faculty development program. Because now we are undergoing the RAP, that is revised accreditation framework initiated by NAC. As the principal rightly pointed out, it sometimes principals of different institutions are being speculated with the changes made by the NAC. So it is a right time for the college, to cognizance of organizing this kind of faculty development program so that number of colleges in this part of the country will be benefited out of it. So my sincere congratulations are due to the team work of GHE College of Education for organizing the mega event. Organizing an event, a national event, is not everybody's cup of tea. It's very, very difficult task because it involves a lot of modalities. But now he is organizing the faculty development program through online mode. So once again, it is a very, very tedious task. But may I pray that the faculty development program should go on well, so that number of colleges should be benefited out of it. This is the major objective of this thing. I am really happy as a professor of educational technology that I am connected with a number of learned personalities across the country in terms of leveraging technology. But for this beautiful technology, which plays a wonderful alternative, we are not connected. So thanks to technology, which is instrumental for us to be connected, to exchange our ideas. I'll be meeting you back on 19th because I am given an assignment on criteria 3. But anyhow, Dr. Barkat Singh asked me to give away a keynote address for the participants. That way, I am connected today with you. Well, now, India is a country which introduced university to the world. Even during 7th century, India discovered university like Nalanda and Taxila to the world. People across the world came down to India, even people from China, people from Asia, people from even Western countries, they came down to India for pursuance of higher education. So India is known for its rich culture, rich values. You see diversity, unity in diversity. When I had been to Punjab, GH College of Education and Chandigarh, number of almost Patiala, many places of Punjab I had been to. When I had been to GKG College of Education, I had a wonderful time as a chairman of NAC accreditation, because the college is known for values and education. This part of the country, which has been established in 1955, and the college has been serving at the rural population for about more than 50 years, for 60 or 70 years actually. So it is good to notice that the college is organizing a mega event now. Therefore, what I am trying to say is India is the repository of knowledge. That's what our Prime Minister Ji recently pronounced, that vocal for local. He said India is the repository of knowledge, and India is the teacher of the world. He said India is the teacher of the world. I think listening to our Prime Minister Ji, it gives me great impetus to remember the great saying of the Western writer Heisenberg, Werner Heisenberg, a great Western writer. He says, in the West, we have built a beautiful ship. In the West, we have built a beautiful ship, which has all comforts, but it has no compass. In the West, we have built a beautiful ship, which has all comforts, but it has no compass. The second sentence, what he writes, men like Gandhi and Tagore found the compass. Why can't we fit into the compass, into the ship, so that both will realize their purpose? This is written by the Western writer. Western writer had a lot of appreciation for our culture, because India is a country which is known for culture. The whole world worship the culture of India. The whole world worship the higher education system of India, because this country discovered university to the world, not America. Even before Columbus discovered, America was discovered only 15th century. Even normally I used to say, before Columbus discovered America, India discovered university to the world. That is the reason I take pride pronouncing India is known for its rich heritage, educational heritage and cultural heritage. In that way, we have got a beautiful culture. You know, wherever you go, see, there is one Tamil poet, Kaniyan Pungundranar, which was pronounced by our then President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in the UK Parliament. That Kaniyan Pungundranar, kindly permit me to speak in Tamil in 2 words, then I will translate, okay, in English. Yadum ure yavarum kelir, Tidum nandrum pradara vara. That means all are my friends in the world, all are my brothers and sisters in the world. Everybody is my brother, everybody is my sister in the world. That's what the Kaniyan Pungundranar, a great poet in Tamil, says. So the entire world is Bharat, Akhanda Bharat. The entire world is Bharat. In that way, it is a great opportunity for me to talk about, to deliver keynote address in the great event, the faculty development program, that even on revised accreditation framework. So is NAC accreditation warranted or imperative for all the institutions? It is mandatory for all the institutions, because you have got to promote quality in higher education. I think you all know the teacher educators, because teacher education is the mother of all the professions. Teacher education is the mother of all the professions. We should be the role model in every walk of higher education, every endeavor of higher education. In that way, teacher education is the mother of all the professions. and we have to be a role model. So we have to ensure quality in our system. Friends, now you see the recent developments. I would like to keep you informed of recent developments that the International Skill Report 2019, that's a recent report, International Skill Report 2019, a world famous report says, in the days to go, there will be 4 types of universities which are going to exist in the world. 4 types of universities. Normally in India, we have got Central University, State University, Deemed University, and higher education system. Premier institutes like IIT, IIM, ISER, NITs. Apart from that, we have got higher education institutions. But the International Skill Report 2019 pronounces that there will be 4 types of universities in the days to go. Number 1 is Future Skill University. Future Skill University. What is the use of Future Skill University? The Future Skill University will focus on finding out the solution for complex problems encountered by the people of the world. So Future Skill University will focus on complex problem solving. Now we are in the VUCA situation. VUCA situation in the sense V stands for volatile, U stands for uncertain, C stands for complexity, and A stands for ambiguity. So we are in the VUCA world, in the sense the world is quite uncertain. We never thought we have to wear mask. We never thought we would be inflicted and afflicted by coronavirus. We are in the midst of outbreak right now, and a lot of personalities put their minds back to find out the vaccine to get rid of the virus. This is happening now. So the VUCA world, any pandemic situations, learning is a continuous process. Therefore, you have to find a complex solution for a complex problem that you encounter. So this university, like Future Skill University, will take care of it. And 60% of the academics across the globe agree that this university would exist in the days to go. The second type of university, I said Future Skill University, and second type of university is networked university. You know, the networked university will export and import technologies. You know, import of technologies, whatever you want now. Imagine, had we not had, Zoom or Google Meet or Microsoft Teams or Coursera or FutureLearn, we would have not been connected. We would have been in dark at home. But these online platforms help us to get connected and share our ideas, exchanges. So second type of university is networked university. And third type of university is My University. What is this My University? My University is a very peculiar and typical university where the curriculum will be designed by the students, not the Board of Studies or Academic Council. The curriculum will be designed by the students, and the teachers have to be prepared to win the confidence of the students. You know, there is a great saying by United States of America Federation of Education. It says there will be a paradigm shift by 2025. There will be a paradigm shift from teacher push to learner pull. Teacher push to learner pull. Teacher push in the sense, whatever is in the curriculum, we will go to the classroom and deliver the curriculum. Now it is not going to be. The student will ask you to teach. He will design the curriculum. They will design the curriculum, and they will ask you to teach certain things, whatever they want to improve their competence. So in that way, now you have My University, the concept of My University, in the sense of student will design the curriculum for improving their personal demands so that they will be more employable, whatever the desires they wanted to be, so that they will design the curriculum, and teachers have to be prepared to deliver their curriculum to meet up the demands of the students. This is going to be a third type of university. Friends, the fourth type of university which is going to exist in the days to go is lifelong university. Lifelong learning university. Lifelong learning university, it will focus on the personal needs of the students. The personal needs and life skills, soft skills which are required for the students. So therefore, academia across the globe, or about 60 to 65% of academics across the globe, agree that this kind of university would exist in the days to go. Sometimes the traditional universities, the conventional universities, what we have, central university and state universities or deemed university, will disappear. Therefore, we have to ensure quality in our system, whatever the situation we come across. See, we never thought we come across this uncertain situation, pandemic, COVID pandemic, but still we continue to learn through alternatives, online platforms. In that way, any situation, any change arises, we must be in a position to ensure quality in our higher education. So that is how NAAC is a very wonderful academic exercise which will help you to find out your strengths and the gray area that you have to improve upon. I never say weaknesses. The strength of the institution, NAAC, it has got a beautiful exercise, sending its team, putting all its mind to make institution, higher learning institutions, to understand their strengths and the gray area where they have to improve upon. This is very important. At the same time, you have to deliver goods to your stakeholders. This is very important because this part of the country, our Prime Minister Ji has already pronounced that we have to make Atmanirbhar India. Atmanirbhar India, which means self-reliant India. Therefore, we don't have to import resources from any part of the world. We have got all resources. Why don't we make use of our own resources and make our country self-reliant country? Atmanirbhar India. This is very, very important. We teachers have to really think about it. That is the reason the NAAC, wants to show the directions for marching towards quality in higher education. That is very, very important. What is quality? Quality. What is quality? Quality assurance, they say. A simple definition I would like to say, quality happens when you care enough to do it. Quality happens when you care enough to do it. Therefore, if quality has to happen, then what happens? You have to really understand that everybody is responsible for quality. Gone are those days. In old accreditation framework, I still remember only 20% of the college teachers or university teachers put their mind back for getting the better grades, A grade or 5-star status or something like that in those days. But now it is not the case. Every element of your higher education institution has to deliver goods, to promote, to gain confidence. I am really love, participating myself into revised accreditation framework because every element of the higher education institution has to issue through academic, political and commercial developments associated with globalization. Quality is conceived as excellence. What is excellence? Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam says, excellence is a continuous process. But it is not an accident. So it is a continuous process. That's what the famous educationist, the famous philosopher Aristotle says, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but the habit, he says. Excellence is not an act, but the habit. Therefore, quality is not an act. Quality is a habit. So in that way, quality cannot be compromised. That is the reason, you are given only 5 years of time. whether you have the quality sustenance, and then you have got to once again go for the other cycle, second cycle or third cycle. Why? Because it is a continuous process. It is a habit. Excellence is a habit. Quality is a habit. In that way, quality can be conceived as an excellence. Friends, quality has 0 errors. What is quality? 0 errors. The idea of 0 errors you must understand. Whenever you think of an industry, 0 error concept is highly emphasized. There should not be no error. If there is an error, sometime, you will cut a sorry face. It will tell upon you. In that way, quality is conceived to be 0 errors also. Friends, quality is also considered to be fitness for purpose. Fitness for purpose in the sense you must understand the learners are prospective learners, those who fund higher education, the academic community or government or society at large, or to a greater or lesser extent, all clients are users of higher education, but may have very different views of both purpose and fitness is very important. Whatever my stakeholders want, I must be able to, so our curriculum must be able to meaningful to our stakeholders. Our curriculum must make them whatever they wanted to become. Otherwise, the fitness and purpose will be a big question. So this must be taken into account. Friends, quality is considered to be transformation. Empowering students to achieve the goal. Quality, the quality initiatives you take from 7 criteria, from curricular aspect to best practices, innovative practices, 7 criteria. So now quality as conceived must be conceived to be a transformation, and it must really empower your stakeholders with a special reference to specific skills, knowledge, character, which enable them live and work in the knowledge society. Now we are in the knowledge society, technology society. So whether your curriculum that you offer, the initiatives that you intend to throw for the stakeholders will be helpful for transforming them into the knowledge society, which is very important. Friends, I would like to consider quality as threshold. Quality as a threshold. Some criteria, some norms can be as threshold. You have to take really cognitions. So if there is no threshold, now what happened? We don't think of quality sustenance. We don't think of assuring quality to our higher education institution. Therefore, what I would like to say is quality must be a threshold. You have to, that's why 7 criteria are given, and you will be objectively assessed by NAC so that you will develop a good inclination and intention to be at the service of the society in terms of your education. That's very important. Friends, I would say, the quality, can I take another 2-3 minutes? Dr. Burgess Singh, can I take another 2-3 minutes?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Time is 4 o'clock.
Yes, please, sir, please.
Okay. Now you see, I would like to take another 4 to 5 minutes. Quality awareness is very important. First of all, quality awareness. So why quality is important in higher education? First of all the higher education institutions must be aware of promoting quality in their premises. That's very important. Quality in the sense, you see, in the Western countries, if you travel to Western countries, they give important, even IITs and IIM in India, the premier institute, if you visit premier institute, the foremost importance they give, the aesthetics of the institution. Apart from all the 7 criteria, the foremost importance given by the premier institute of universities in Western countries, the aesthetic sense is very important. The neatness of the campus, neat and cleanliness of the campus. Cleanliness of the campus is given foremost importance. So in that way, now quality awareness is whatever we do, we should not have any compromise at all. Because you see, once we start compromising, then what happens? It will tell upon our initiatives. Therefore, without compromising, so you have to really contemplate, okay, ideas in which you should not. Otherwise, what happens? Your institution, you will be complacent. Your institution will be complacent. Therefore, what you have to do is quality awareness is very important. After quality awareness, now, now you see you have quality initiatives. If you are aware of quality, then you initiate. Come on, let me put my thoughts and mind back so that whatever I initiate must be able to reach or must be meaningful to my fellow students. The initiative, meaningful to the institution, meaningful to the society, meaningful to the country, whatever the initiatives I take. So now what happened, quality awareness will make you travel to quality initiatives now. Then quality initiatives when you take, you think of quality enhancement now. That is the reason you see GSC College of Education has got a NAAC accreditation 3.30, the highest score in the second cycle. Now quality enhancement is very important for them. In the third cycle, they have to score more than 3.30, at least 3.51. Therefore, they will get A++ status. So in that way, now what happened? Quality enhancement. Because quality is a continuous process. Quality is conceived to be excellence. Therefore, it is a continuous process. So quality enhancement. At last, you will have what happened next? Quality sustenance is very important. The quality is enhanced, but the sustenance, as far as or as long as the institution exists, it has to sustain with quality in higher education, quality in teacher education. We call quality sustenance. Why? Because sustain. You have to sustain the quality initiatives, what you provoke. So this is very important. And then the last one, quality culture. Now what happened? Quality culture will be there. You see, yeah, no, sir. Now, as Dr. Bargaz Singh rightly pointed out, our India is the highest higher education system in the world, third highest higher education system in the world. We have got for about 900 universities. We have got 40,000 institutions across the country. Highest, largest higher education system in the world. But still, you see, we need some ideas which are so that we will have global competence. Therefore, quality culture is very important. 40,000 colleges are there, but only we are able to identify few colleges, or your students are able to spot out only, figure out only few colleges which deliver goods in this part of the world or in this part of the country. In this country, only few colleges, you know, they established their own identity. So the reason is quality culture. So the institution which imbibes, inculcates quality culture in the premises, now it is identified by the people. That is how, you know, the Western countries, what they do is they look at the curriculum, whether the curriculum is meaningful to, whether the curriculum is relevant to them or not, whether the institution provides knowledge of relevance, skills and competencies to be represented, character to be imbibed. These things are studied by the student in Western universities. But unfortunately, it is not the case with our students. So in that way, quality culture will be there. So in that, this is the reason why the faculty development is concentrating on revised accreditation framework, where you have 70% is meant for your data and 30% we call quantitative metrics, and 30%, almost 25.6% qualitative metrics. And then you have got DVV, you know, data validation and verification. So now you see NAAC, you know, is trying to provide justice to the institution, and NAAC is trying to provide objective assessment to the higher education institution. Therefore, you have to ensure quality cutting across different domains. So 7 criteria. If you are able to ensure quality in 7 criteria, your institution will be considered to be institution of eminence, I would say. And that institution will be able to help the students to have global competence. Therefore, it is a nice initiative organized by GHE, Khalsa College of Education, Patiala, and I wholeheartedly wish them all the best. And all these 7 days will be fruitful sessions for all the principals and teachers across the country, and I wish the faculty development program a grand success. Thank you for the opportunity extended to me. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.